What's up, guys? So I'm going to be replacing the thermostat in this 2015 Chevy Tahoe. This is with the 5.3-liter engine. The thermostat on here was faulty. I didn't have a check engine light or anything like that, but the operating temperature is usually around 210, and it wasn't getting up there. It was below that, and I barely had any heat. It's pretty simple to replace it. You just need a flathead to take the intake off, and then a 10 millimeter. I use extension and a ratchet, and then some pliers to get the two hoses off the actual thermostat housing. So right now I'm taking off the air box. Like I said, it's two clamps on either side, and you have to remove the two hoses that are in the back on the valve covers. Once you get those off, I went ahead and started taking the clamps off the two hoses. There's a bigger one that is on the thermostat, and then there's a smaller one. Once you get those two removed, it will start leaking coolant if you didn't drain it already, and I didn't. So here in a minute, you will see it start to leak out. And then take your ratchet with the 10 millimeter on there, and there's three bolts. There's one right there, one on the opposite end, and there's one kind of across. Make sure you guys put a pan or something underneath so it collects all the coolant that's going to spill out here in a minute. It took about half a gallon of coolant to fill it back up, so it's not going to empty the system completely, but you will lose some. One thing I do want to point out, once you take the housing off, the gasket is actually stuck on the engine side, so you want to make sure you pull that off and clean that surface good before you put the new one on. If you don't, it's going to leak. So I already cleaned the surface and I got the old gasket off. Right now I'm just putting the new one back into place. Once you put it back in place, I put the bolts back in, and you want to make sure you tighten these evenly. Don't tighten just one end and go to the next one. Tighten all three slowly and evenly, go back and forth. These don't have that much torque on the bolts, so just hand tight is fine. As you can see from right here, tighten them with the ratchet, going back and forth with all these bolts. It's just the three, like I said, and you don't want to over tighten them because they will snap. Alright, so I already got the bolts in and they're tightened. Now I'm just going to take the two hoses that we originally took off, the bigger one and the smaller one, and we're going to put those back in where they're supposed to go, and then just move the clamps back into place, and you're good after that. Once those hoses are on, all you gotta do is put the intake back on, and then right here I'm just tightening up the last clamp. Remember, there's two, one on the throttle body and then one over here by the filter. I thought I got a clip of me filling the coolant back up, but this is all I got right here, and then me starting it and letting it run. I just topped the coolant back off, and then I let it idle for a little bit just to make sure it wasn't going to overheat or it didn't need any more coolant, and we're fine.